All right, good evening, everybody. I know it's been a while since we did this, but I figured why not. This is one of my favorite sets to come out where we try to figure out what's in the box. All right. I'd like to give a shout out to my local LGS Titan. Thank you guys for always having the product that we need on time whenever we want it. So appreciate you guys for having it. So if you guys haven't heard yet, there's another Universes Beyond set. Up next is Labubu versus Pokemon, which I'm pretty sure is on the horizon. I honestly cannot wait for the Food Wars because I would love to have a Taco Bell card, and it has a new mechanic called Squirts, and basically it's how much diarrhea you can defecate before you completely run out of life and or resources. So if you don't know what Avatar is, it's the show about the blue people that take over Fern Gully. That's essentially what it's about. But Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of my favorite series on Nickelodeon. Next to, actually, there wasn't that many things on Nickelodeon that were actually that good, but it was one of the standouts. Next to your Rocket Powers and your Hey Arnold's and your Codename Kids Next Doors. Even though that wasn't on Nickelodeon, but it would have beat ass if it did. But anyway, let's get into this. We're gonna start opening packs and figure out what's in the box. And while we do this, we're going to talk about our favorite Avatar moments. Avatar: The Last Airbender didn't pop off. Ooh, already. Avatar Aang. Avatar Aang, Mythic, Flying, Firebending 2. Already got Firebending. Whenever you water, earth bend, firebend, draw a card. So anytime you bend, you do something. And if you've done all four, this transform. What somebody just lies and say they did all four? It's a bunch of liars in this game. But anyway, flip side is Avatar, Master of Elements. One of my favorite moments in the shows is when he gives the Fire Lord that work, that 2-piece and that biscuit, and he pretty much strips him butt naked and was like, "Yeah, no powers for you." So Avatar Aang. Outside of that, let's see what we got here. Oh, we got a full art. Heartbeat of Spring. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type. It seems like a HUD card. I'm not helping no player. Get out of here. This is stupid. But anyway, what's the name? Honestly, I think Katara should end up with Zuko anyway. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Let's see. Oh, Grand. I like Grand from the series, not the M. Night Shyamalan movie, because she was trash. She was garbage. Let's see. Sacrifice a land. Search for 2 basic lands. Okay. Get my landfall, so we're gonna move on. And mind you, we're only pulling out, the mythics and the rares and cards that I actually care about. Not gonna lie, the animation art looks a little like old school janky. Like they could have made it look a lot better than that. All right, White Lotus Hideout. I'm thinking the White Lotus might have been Jet's game, but I could be wrong. All right, and then we have Redirection Lightning. Pay 5. That does stuff y'all can read on your own. Fire Nation Engineer. By the way, that engineer looks stacked. I'm just saying, like he knows he got 3 kids to take care of at home, so he just pumping in that iron. All right, but anyway, like I was saying, favorite moments. Introduction of Toph. Toph was a bad ass, and I loved how they underplayed her too, because she was always unassuming, because she was the blind girl, and then she just proceeds to beat everybody's ass. Secret Tunnel. Secret Tunnel, I think, is when they were on their way to Ba Sing Se, and this is where we run into the Badger Moles. And Aang lets it slip. Hey, hey girl, I want to bend your heart. And Katara's like, but you just a little kid, and I got eyes for somebody else, cause my mama just died, and these hoes ain't loyal. So that's where we get into that. All right, moving on. I'm gonna clear this space so it's easier to see. Grand. She looks like Grand looks like she makes great cookies and beats ass. Like just icicle ass whoopings. It's like, did you thaw that chicken? It's like, thaw it where, Grand? We ain't got no stove. Earthbending Ascension. When this enters, you Earthbend 2, search for a library for a land, put it in play. When a land enters, blah, blah, put a quest counter on it, you get stuff trample. Alright, cool. And we also have Zao the Moonslayer. This is one of the biggest haters in this. First of all, the fact that this is Magus of the Moon or Blood Moon makes perfect sense. This dude was a hater, alright? And I appreciate, like, there's got to be levels to hate. Like, you got to have some redeeming factors. You can't be the Joker on everything. Serpent of the Past. That was an okay episode. General Iroh. Lessons cost. Always giving him lessons. Although I always thought there was something else in that tea he was drinking, because you ain't drinking tea like that unless you catching something off of it. It wasn't even sweet, for God's sakes. And if you're from the South, you know what that means. All right. Aang Iceberg. All right. Like I said before, this should have been Thing in the Ice. Okay, this should have been Thing in the Ice. Whenever the enchantment enters, exile the one target non-land permanent. This has Waterbending 3. Sacrifice this enchantment. Yeah, I'm never playing that. Fire Sage. Anyway, Momo Playful Pet. I love Momo. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by all the stuff. So yeah, a bunch of stuff. Toph comes in. One of the favorite episodes when she gets introduced and you find out she's the Blind Bandit. And then they have the wrestling tournament with the Boulder, aka The Rock. It was it wasn't even Dwayne Johnson. It was literally just The Rock. Abandoned Air Temple. Put counters on stuff. This is busted. Yeah, this can get stupid real quick. Glider Staff, and that's mostly Master Paku. Paku was a bastard. Was a grizzly old bastard who didn't want to teach Katara how to bend. But he was like, wait, you granddaughter? Tell her to go holler at me. Then when he found out who her grand was, then he was like, oh yeah, then I'm gonna soften up because he was trying to drop it off in them drawers. Anyway, Toph comes in. Toph's amazing, and she pretty much sets the standard for the rest of the season. And then, because I hated Katara, I hated the absolute hell. God damn, Earthbending Ascension. I got another one of those. I feel kind of cheated. I mean, and that art looks terrible. But you know what? We just gonna go with it. Katara. Introduce Katara. Katara, like, chapped my butt cheeks when I first got introduced to her because, she was just annoying. But then when she turns that corner and after you find out she can like bend legit and she's actually one of the best benders out there, because it's odd and people like to talk trash. Like when it comes in the order, it goes Toph is one of my favorites. Is my absolute favorite. Katara is a close number 2 and 3, and then I gotta give it to Zuko because of his story development. And I know that's easy to say because most villains, have the best recovery arc. Boomy, Unleashed, another mythic. Boomy enters the Earthbends 4. Whenever Boomy does combat damage to a player and tap all lands you control, additional combat phases. That's a Boomy card right there. That is really on brand. Boomy looked like he used to tempt for the 300 people. He just was jacked for no reason. Like he stepped on Legos just to build strength, and he kicked table legs with his bare feet. Leaves of the Vines. Oh, y'all don't know about this. I'm not even gonna spoil this one, but Leaves of the Vine was pretty fire. Azula, Cunning Usurper. First of all, one of the best antagonists you can get in the series. Discovered lightning bending at a young age. She was the truth. Actually, the only person who really sucked in the series was Aang because he was just annoying. He was the epitome of a child throughout the season until Azula gave him some get right and shot that light. You see, because Aang used to always be like, I got the Avatar state. You can't mess with me and Azula was like, here, hold my lightning. Zuko conflicted. Like I said, Zuko was, especially when he cut his hair. He had the whole, Frohawk thing going. And I was like, bro, that's not even what's hot right now. And he had more tenacity too, especially when he was going after Aang. But like I was saying, Aang, I'm the Avatar. You can't touch me. I'm too good as the Avatar. Look, you see me riding and flying on stuff. And Azula was like, all right, put your ass in a coma. Firebending Ascension. 2/2. Whenever a creature you control attacks, cause a trigger ability of a request counter of its 4 or more, you may copy ability. So, okay, that's great for copying fire. Appa. God. When it comes to anime pets, you know, he's one of the top ones out there. Appa was always the go-to, you know. I think one of the saddest ones is when he got captured. And that's when you saw my boy Aang pop off. They was like, you do not touch my Sky Bison. I was like, that's right. That's right. Now go put your foot in the ass. The Fire Nation drill. Is this the one? No, this enters. You may tap it. You do destroy permanence. Your opponent's control loses. I guess that's okay. The Unagi of Kyoshi Island. Another sea beast. All right, cool. Fire Nation attack. Create two soldiers. Flashback. Whatever. The boulder. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The boulder. The rock. It was pretty much the rock. We're not even gonna do this. It was Dwayne the Rock Johnson. That's all it was. All right, moving on. Let's see what we got here. I really want to open the Appa. I actually like this token. Awaken the Avatar. His ass better be in here. Don't you give me the residential cardboard and he ain't in here. Katara the Fearless. Like, this is when she was popping. And she was popping mofos with used water, too. That was the most disrespectful part, because she used to carry this little water skin on her back. And she used to use it for everything. Curing wounds, wiping people's asses. It was like, yo, dog. Yo. Target creature you control gains firebending. So for 2, you can give somebody 4. That's actually pretty good. Fire Nation powers. Like, she used to do everything, like wipe the crust off her feet, and then would go into battle and slap people, and then have other people drink the water. I was like, you just nasty. I don't care how much bending you doing. Once the water touches somebody's butt and or feet, you better not have me drinking it, or we going to war. The Island of Kurk. This is one of the other avatars that pops off. So anyway, yeah, beating butt with feet water. Yeah, that is egregious right there. When I saw that, ran and saw this is the episode where Aang and Zuko go to master their firebending, and they end up, you know, learning how to do the 2-step. And I think it ends with Aang Millie rocking, and that's how he eventually learns how to firebend. And Zuko learning that, you know, Iroh is his real daddy. Anyway, back to the feet and butt water. Like I said, I get that she could lay those hands. And I was appreciative of her skills. As a matter of fact, she, like I said, one of the best fighters in the series. She set the standard because Aang was... I literally just opened this. This is Rand and Shaw again. One of the best in the series. But then you hit me with feet and butt water. We don't have to talk. Foggy Swamp Vision. Okay, I don't know how to feel about that one, but we're going to leave that alone. Alright, moving on. I'm pretty sure, like I said, I'm all looking at the rares and stuff. There might be some good stuff in here. Alright, going back to this. Zuko. Sokka. Sokka didn't get good until after the Kyoshi Warrior thing, because he was a little annoying until then. Like I said, it took a minute for some of these characters to grow on you. Sandbender's Scavenger. That wasn't that big of a deal for you to make it a rare. I mean, come on. Now, Mai was a big deal, and there's a reason that Mai got prowess. Hey, you can give her a double strike? Sick. Disgusting. Gross. But anyway, like I was saying, what was I saying? Anyway, I forgot what I was saying, so I'm going to talk about something else. It took a minute for these people to grow on you. Because it was like, okay, what are you doing? Even Uncle Iroh, I mean, after a while, you was like, hey, man, shut up and just drink the damn tea. All right, the Walls of Ba Sing Se. First of all, this has a great place in my heart. I loved the I love Ba Sing Se, especially when you get introduced to it. It seems like one of the major metropolis. You can see why they was headbutting against them so long, because it was like, what do you do with this giant rock city? I mean, they just beastly. As a matter of fact, if you notice, there's a reason why the air temple got first, because honestly, if an airbender wanted to, a firebender would never bend, because you need air in order to bend fire. So he's like, yo, we need to get them got first, because they was like, they can literally take the bullets out of our gun. The Wrath, the Avatar Wrath, anywhere other than their hand. Okay, that's an airbend all creatures. Actually, I'm gonna use that one. I got a blue-white deck I'm building, and that's actually gonna fit right in. Rumble Arena. All right, we are halfway through this box. I still haven't seen the Appa. I'm getting a little discouraged right now. Oh, by the way, guys, thank you for watching. Like I said, it's been a while since we've done a box opening like this. We've been very business. Each land and ally you control has tap 1 to add mana of any color. I don't know how to feel about this. You know what? The ultimate pull is gonna be the cabbage dude too, because my cabbages. That's why. Bei Feng, the bounty hunter. Okay, why not? So moving on. Fire Lord Ozai. Here's the deal. Fire Lord Ozai was about that work. As much people give it about Azula, Fire Lord Ozai was like, I'm gonna punch my own son in his face to make sure he gets some get right. And then he did it in front of people too. He did it in front of the witness and then dared them to call CPS. Do you think anybody calls CPS? Nope, not in his kingdom. The Earth King. Create a 4/4 bear. It's not even legendary, so you can just keep flickering this bastard. That's actually pretty good. Agne Kel. I don't remember how to pronounce this, but this is the temple where that hater dude went and killed the moon spirit. Do you know how much of a badass you have to be to kill the moon? The only person I've ever seen kill a moon was in Star Wars and Vash the Stampede. And he only put a hole in that bastard. The Merchant Aerial Artisan. Oh yeah, I think this was the dude that was son was helping out Sokka, because Sokka hit a brick wall where he wasn't, they didn't know what to do with him, because he was just being comic relief and things were getting serious, and they were like, we got to get you something to do, because you know you still crying because you left your girlfriend on the island. That's a nice looking forest. I'll give him that. Day of the Black Sun. Each creature with mana cost loses all abilities until the next turn. Destroy all those creatures. I guess it's the remove indestructible. Why not just say everything loses indestructible? Because stuff has persistence and all that other stupid stuff, and people give it regenerate and all that dumb crap. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, why not just say, you know, creatures are destroyed, lose indestructible, and cannot be regenerated. Then, you know what? That actually does some work. All right, people still know Appa. Oh, okay. Wang Shi Tong Librarian. Boom. Got there, coach. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Spirit Water Revival. That's the one I'm telling you about, where she used the feet water to cure Aang because he was talking all that trash. And Azula was like, all right, you don't understand. I came here, you know, to bake cookies and murder, and we are fresh out of dough. She put Aang on the slab. I was like, ooh. If you saw the mark, like, it tore through his body. Speaking of which, if they had like a more, you know, X-rated, like graphic version of bending, I could see, you know, urine bending and, you know, kidney stone bending and one of many. You know, you make somebody's kidney stones come out forcefully. You know, that'll end the fight real quick. I don't know if y'all know what a kidney stone is, but you don't want to. And then another thing is like you can just water bend the water out of people's bodies. And they actually almost did that too, because that's when Katara learned how to do blood bending. And she was like pretty much possessing people's bodies. Jasmine Tea Shop. I think I already ordered this one. Sure, why not? The Jasmine Tea Shop, why not? That's where Uncle gets all his illegal paraphernalia. No, but that's where Iroh and Zuko worked as they were on the lam, because when you broke, you got to make your ends meet sometimes. Sometimes you just got to get that McDonald's job, bro. Ain't no shame in your game. All right, we get Ba Sing Se. Okay, we got there, coach. This is one of the cards I've always wanted. Like I said, one of my favorite places to visit in the Avatar universe is Ba Sing Se. If you know, you know. I'm just saying, if you know, you know. All right, we're down to the last 5 packs. And I believe that I will not see my Appa. I got some good pulls in here. They were pretty good. But I have no Appa. And I don't know how to feel about that. So we're gonna let that marinate for a while. I didn't even get any good of that many good airbending cards. I got the Wrath, but I don't know how to feel about that. Airbending Ascension. Now this is actually a good one. Exile up to one target at the beginning of your end step, so it's a flicker effect. This is actually really good. So this can get real nasty, especially with ETB effects. So if you know, you know. So back to it. Like Avatar, this last Airbender was one of the most complete series. I think the pacing was great, especially if you want to get into it and you haven't seen it before. First, I need you to go find a nice quiet corner to go sit in, because you clearly watch terrible things and nothing but terrible things. Fire Lord Azula. Oh my God. She was like a Dragon Ball Z character. It was like she was a rated M character in a PG-13 series. Like I'm pretty sure like she was openly threatening to kill people's whole families. I was like, yo, I don't think you were supposed to be in this show, because you a whole murderer. Just a whole murderer in these streets. I respect it, but this is Nickelodeon. I gotta go to school in the morning and get ready for a test I didn't study for. The United Front. Create that many ally tokens and put 1 counters on each. I mean, I guess. That's a mythic. Oh! Another mythic. Solstice Comet. You see? You just gotta trust the process. Solstice Comet. Each creature you control gains firebending 5. God damn. That's a lot. Yeah, that'll end the game real quick. And you can foretell it. Yeah, that's a good way to end the game right there. You give everybody firebending. Okay. I guess. All right, and last but not least, we have Iroh Grand Lotus. Firebending 2. Like I said, I like Iroh. And then you have Raven Eagle. Enter the attack, exile the 1 team. If you do, create a clue token. Why not? And then I have Clone. That art is just so weird. It's like it doesn't fit anything. And only got 2 of those out of a whole pack? I don't know how to feel about any of this. I feel a little dirty. I'm not gonna agree. But I did want Appa. I did not get Appa, and I feel a little incomplete. I didn't even get Momo, and Momo is a 1-drop. Y'all just screwed me. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me for this incoherent rant about Avatar. I'm actually looking forward to this set. There seems like there's a lot of good things about this set that we can look forward to, especially the mechanics. These are very interesting mechanics. I cannot wait to have, Fire Lord Ozai get into a battle when I cast Jaws from the Adventure Zone and, sneak attack with Chucky as SpongeBob catches him in his jellyfish net. But thank you guys for liking and rocking with us. Like and subscribe. It's always fun being with you guys. Make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend and tell an enemy. And until next time, get out of here.